Hi, my name is Olajide Olagunju, and I'm the author of the book, How to Resolve a Conflict, which I'd like to share with you on the screen right now. This book, How to Resolve a Conflict. And this is the textbook we are making use of for this lecture series, which is also titled How to Resolve a Conflict lecture series. We are now today, as you are joining us, in How to Resolve a Conflict lecture 57. That means we have covered 56 lectures. So if you've not joined or you've missed any, please, you can get to watch it. It's online on YouTube. But for today, welcome, and it's good to have you. And I do hope you benefit from the discussion. Yeah, we've been discussing the person of the mediator. And today, I'd like us to move on to something else. I'd like us to discuss institutionalizing mediation. So today we're discussing institutionalizing mediation, and I find this topic very apt, very interesting, because, as I have said in the past, I consider conflict as the biggest industry in the world. I hope you agree with me. And if every other industry has an institution, mine is, why not? Why do we have institutions? So that best ideas can be propagated, can be applied more easily, more effectively, probably more cheaply. Most importantly, for it to be available, to be readily available. And so it's important that we discuss how mediation can be more and more readily available. So I hope you find this discussion, a series of discussions on institutionalizing mediation interesting. There's a quote here from the law, Texas ADR, or Alternative Dispute Resolution Act, 1987. That's the law that the state of Texas passed to support mediation practice. I read the quote. It is the policy of this state to encourage the peaceable resolution of disputes, including the mediation of issues. It is the responsibility of all trial and appellate courts to carry out this policy. Unquote. That's a very, very strong support for mediation. Very strong support. And that shows a responsible and responsive government. I mean, every government ought to be behind the institutionalization of mediation, which is a superior conflict resolution process, because it's amicable, as the Texas Code should agrees or indicated. So let's now go into the chapter proper. And in this chapter, we shall consider how various bodies in the society can promote the use of mediation. So let's begin. The state. The state is well placed to promote the use of mediation. This may be achieved by providing proactive legislation on mediation, as several governments have done. In addition to legislation, the government could also make provision in the court rules for reference to mediation in appropriate cases. France did this in February 1995. Facilities could also be provided for mediation in the court premises to ensure easy access to mediators. This is being done in the USA. Apart from the mediators recognized by the federal and state governments, the various governments in the USA also have official mediators who go to institutions where they are needed to mediate. China and Canada are also very active in this respect. The compulsory settlement proceedings that was pioneered in California in the 1970s could also be adopted. A week is set aside every year when parties are required to try mediation. It has been found to be successful. Okay, there's a lot on this already. The various governments, several governments, to my knowledge, have been promoting the institutionalization of mediation. I know I've personally consulted for about 12 states, you know, working to establish centers uh, in their justice departments for uh, citizen mediation to make mediation available for the mass of the people. Um, I also know that my good friend that I mentioned at the beginning of the lectures, Kenya, collaborated with the Lagos State Judiciary to set up the multi-door courthouse. So if you are driving to Lagos Island, if you are driving to the Lagos High Court, the Lagos Island High Court, the first thing you see, the first office you see is actually a mediation center. It's called Multi-Door Courthouse. I know it was established by Kenya organization, NCMG, and the judiciary with support from the US government. So it's a worthwhile effort. And of course, other states have done the same. Abuja, Federal Abuja High Court, Abuja Federal High Court, not the Federal High Court, the High Court of the Abuja Federal Capital Territory has been there for years. The Lagos State, sorry, forgive me, the Kano State has one. And of course, the idea of multi-door courthouse was borrowed, of course, from DC, Washington, DC. I think it's probably the first multi-door courthouse. But the idea is to make mediation available right there in the courtroom, so people come to court, probably to do battle, which you all lawyers go to do in court. And then as they are entering the court, they see a mediation. Okay, what does that tell them? Try amicable conflict mediation. And we're providing you mediators right here at the entry to the courtroom. Now, if you are not able to resolve amicably, then you can come to the judge who decides for you what to do with your business, your life. But we'll give you the first option. In fact, there's an ADR judge, a judge assigned to supervise the process. And there's a list of mediators. It's a wonderful government effort. Very responsible to make mediation, amicable dispute resolution readily available for participants. Of course, I already cited the example of Texas, the law. I know that the law, the Trade Dispute Act of Nigeria, Section 4, Section 5, Section 8, provides for mediation, conciliation, amicable dispute resolution, another encouraging, responsible way to go. And I'm sure there are several others, governments making efforts to make conflict resolution less stressful for their citizens. This is the way to go. In the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, you can even see the name Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Government of Nigeria makes available when it passes a law that says, well, you don't have to fight in conflict, you can resolve amicably. You don't have to resolve conflict. You don't have to deal with dispute adversarially. I assure you that by saying that a judge and arbitrator must decide for you, you can go through a conciliation. Not only is the law there, there's also a rich set of rules which are adopted in my book, for effective conflict resolution. Very, very rich. Of course, the government said adopted it or warehoused it from the United Nations Commission on Trade Law, on CITRA. Well, the idea is that governments, responsible governments, are institutionalizing mediation. They're making laws. They're setting up centers for dispute resolution. The Constitution of Nigeria was amended to provide, among other things, for alternative dispute resolution centers to be set up in the Nigeria Industrial Court, National Industrial Court of Nigeria, NICN. So that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Encourage people to resolve disputes amicably. The government has that responsibility. I know the law, law passed to support mediation of issues, mediation and conciliation of issues. I mean, to set up the professional bodies, to regulate amicable conflict resolution processes. I know it's not been signed into law. I think that maybe I'm not sure we all agreed. All of us in the industry agree that there should be a regulator of our profession. But the lawmakers have passed the law, and I don't think it will hurt us to have the law to ensure best practice to us, at least to encourage best practice. We hope that the handlers of the process, those that become managers of that law, will not abuse it, will allow it to advance amicable dispute resolution as opposed to stifling it. And it's not new, as I've said. I know that the Institute of Chartered Arbitrators UK, of which I'm a fellow, exists as part of the law of England. It's chartered by the Queen. That means I believe it's set up by law, so it's not necessarily new. But anyway, what's critical is that government should promote amicable dispute resolution. And should do so aggressively. I make my use of words. It should be of each concern, and so that many of the conflicts that probably degenerate to violence will be resolved at the beginning, and we don't need to wait down the line. In my lecture, analyzing the violence in the Capitol Hill, after the U.S. election of this year, of last year, I believe it was on January 6th. Yes, January 6th, the violence took place at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. In my lecture, analyzing that violence, I said that it was a failure of peacemaking, failure of mediation, that the U.S. has an abundance of mediators. Where were they when the conflict was brewing? Because it didn't just happen. January 6th was the ultimate, was the end of the conflict. And so I said that 3 weeks, 6 weeks down the line, when we were getting this early warning signal, we as body of mediators, including myself, we also have been calling for mediators to intervene. But very importantly, which is the point I want to make, I also said that it was a failure of law because there ought to be in the law political mediation written into law saying, well, if there are conflicts that could, like this, the one that happened in the USA, in election that brought in Biden. Then if there's this kind of conflict that will lead to violence, mediators, better, probably, or best partisan, bipartisan mediators should be brought in to mediate. I think that probably could have stemmed the violence, could have probably stopped it, could have stopped it, could have prevented it. That's my opinion. But the point I'm making is that government at all levels, local, state, federal, provincial, government at all levels should promote the institutionalization of mediation by making laws that promote it, and by setting up and supporting the setting up of mediation centers, and to supporting mediators and conciliators and all those alternative dispute resolution that help to resolve conflict amicably. I think we can stop there for today, and we'll continue tomorrow in lecture 58. Please, before you go, press the button that says subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel. I will appreciate that. And please send in your comments on what you participated in today. And then, of course, read the book, How to Resolve a Conflict. It's available on all Amazon outlets globally. And if you have any difficulty getting it, let me know. Thank you so much.